Going through the spring and then maybe the off season with Glenn, I mean, what kind of conversation did you have about changes you'd like to make, and then how did you get that plan implementing that?
I mean, really not a lot of changes. I think it's just the mindset of how we're teaching the quarterback. I think, the reason that we hired Glenn is just we're very familiar with him and I know how he's going to teach the quarterback and the calmness he does it with. So really pleased, from the spring to this point where those guys are.
When you guys take Carter Nelson, Coach talked about last week in Indianapolis, and put him in the slot, is he really playing receiver, or is he playing like a position that you've made for him?
More of a position made for him. I think that, any step, whether you're playing 8-man football, 11-man football, when you go from high school to the Big Ten, that's a huge transition physically. So as athletic and as, all the tools that he's been given, that he can use, we didn't want to slow his path to the field down by trying to, make him block a 6'5", 285 defensive end. We wanted him to do what he does best, which is run routes, get open, catch the ball, play in space. So we thought if we taught from the outside back to inside, it'll get him on the field a little bit quicker. So that's kind of the direction why we did that.
How optimistic are you that the second, third team guys can push the first team guys at wide receiver and offensive line compared to even a year ago where
That's amazing. The depth that we've last year when we were going through it was not a lot of fun when all those freshmen were having to play receiver. And I think the depth that we have now because of that is awesome. And it's a superpower for us because competition is everything in our program. So, I mean, you could go out there this week and be a 1 and look up next week and be a 3 if you're not performing at the standard that we're asking for. And I think the same with the O-line. We got some older guys that have played a lot of football there, but there's still just the depth that we have that we've developed in the last 2 years of I'm looking at Coach's coffee right here. I don't know, it got me distracted. The depth that we've developed there has been really good.
Coach, when you look at you obviously have some better receivers. You have some younger guys too. Compared to having the veteran guys play well, how important is it that the younger guys continue to progress through camp before the season?
That's the cool thing is the veteran guys that we brought in. When we were recruiting those guys, Isaiah and Jamal, we talked to them about being big brothers, and I think they really embraced that role. And I think the younger receivers have not looked at them as I'm not going to get on the field because we have older guys. They've looked at them as big brother types, and I think they've done a really nice job of mentoring the young guys and teaching them how to practice, teaching them how to work, teaching them how to be pros. And, again, I think this is just going to play off each other because there's great competition in that room.
Coach, what you said in Indianapolis last week, a lot of it, the improvement on offense is about eliminating the bad. What's the key to eliminating giveaways on offense? How do you guys know?
I think, obviously, we, the citizens of Nebraska, know you can't turn the ball over. And I think that you can talk about that, but I think once our guys – globally, coaches, players, everything look back and know like how different the season could have been last year if we just hold on to the football and don't turn the ball over. I think they know how critical that is, and I think that there's, starting last spring, just the emphasis of taking care of the football. Like if we have to just take a knee 3 times and punt the ball, but we don't turn it over, we'll do that, right? We're not going to turn the ball over anymore, and they know if you turn the ball over, you're not going to play. And I think just talking about the depth that we've developed on offense, we're at a point now where if you do turn the ball over, you're coming out of the game, and whether you get out there or not again that's yet to be seen.
What expectations do you have for Dylan, not just in camp but this season?
All 3 quarterbacks. I haven't really seen them. Coach really made us get away this year in the summer and let the players kind of take over. So last time I saw those guys in June, they had taken another step since the spring from throwing the football. It was an emphasis for us going into spring ball was throwing the football. They had a good June, and then I'm anxious just to get back this week and see where they are. I've obviously heard people talking about, all those guys are developing, and Danny and Heinrich and Dylan, all 3 of them have great summers. That's great last 3 weeks especially.
Mentally with Dylan, how far ahead is he maybe compared to some other true freshman quarterbacks you've dealt with over your career?
I think it's his work ethic, the way he attacks it. He'll stay up all night just rewriting notes and rewriting plays just to make sure he can call them, in the proper cadence and the proper rhythm. I think that he's just obsessed with trying to be really, really, really good, and I think that shows in his in the development thus far since he's been here since January, and just anxious to see what it's going to look like this week, all three of those dudes.
When we were talking with Elijah at Big Ten Media Days, he was talking about how incoming freshman quarterbacks may be a little bit more advanced and developed because of the gurus and the high school training. Do you see the same thing?
I just think it's sped. Yeah, I think it's just sped up a lot. I mean, back in the day, you were a quarterback, you played baseball, basketball, you did everything. I think now it's just so, especially the high-end quarterbacks, they've played quarterback now for 6 or 7 years, and that's all they've done. And they've prepared, and they've learned how to prepare. They've learned how to, watch film at an early age. The offenses, going back down into the high school level are so advanced now. I think that by the time they get on campus here, mentally they're at a higher rate than they were when, 10 years ago. It's just the physical component, like how fast can they physically get ready to get out there and perform.
What are you looking for running back to, you have 3 guys who have started, to separate someone from the other? What do you want to see there?
Again, competition. I want to see who goes out there, takes care of the ball, can make guys miss, knows their pass protections, can catch the ball in the backfield. It'd be great if we had, we have guys that are productive in all 3 of those phases. But obviously, if there's one that, we can play with 3 guys. Don't really want to play with 3 guys. We want to get guys in there and let them roll and get in the rhythm of the game. But we're at a really good spot, just like at wide receiver, just to go out there and. You may be the starter this week, but you better compete. You better live up to the standard, or you won't be that way, week 2. So it'll be exciting to watch.
Did you see Emmett walk taller, this offseason after what he was able to get done last year?
I think that was huge for him to get to play those games and to have, with those 2 being out in the spring, getting all those reps in the spring. So I think that he's confident just because of the amount of football that he's played, which will, allow him to hopefully be very productive this year.
Marcus, what do you guys see out of Ramir Johnson? What does he bring to this team? You guys only got 3 games of him last year.
Super athletic, smart, high football IQ, understands pass protection. Obviously, catches the ball very well out of the backfield. Can make people miss. Wish we'd had him the whole year, but again, helped him, develop as getting to play. But looking forward to Raheem being out there and seeing what he can do.
Marcus, with the quarterbacks on the headset this season, how do you kind of see yourself handling that? You feel pretty prepared for college kids in game like
It's amazing. I've listened to so many interviews of how many coaches and how many teams haven't even used it yet. And, I think Coach pushed us to make sure that we were going to be the best that we could possibly be at using the headset and using the iPads during the game. We did those in every single scrimmage. I think it's great. I think we have to be really, really careful to not say too much. I can't imagine being out there in a Big Ten game trying to play quarterback and us talking to you. You just can't do that. You need to give him the proper information in a sequence of ways that, it gives him rhythm where he can call the plays. And then, obviously, before 15 seconds, if there's things that we need to get to him, we can. But I'm going to try to not talk too much. Just front load it early, like A, B, C, D, E. All right, let's go, baby. Here we go. And then if there's something that pops, obviously we'll tell him. But I don't want to be talking the whole time.
You have to kind of tailor that to your starter too, and just sort of what they're.
Yeah, you'll get. And again, each guy is different. Like just how you talk to him, I think it's critical. It's critical. The fact that we were able to get such a head start on it and do it all spring was huge.
What kind of a jump do you envision for Thomas Fidone this year?
I don't want to ever put any. I'm really pleased with where he is. I mean, he's put weight on. He's running really well. He's changed directions really well. Ball skills are improving. He's had a really, really, really good summer. And I love the fact he's obsessed with being the best version of himself. And I think he works towards that, and he has a standard every day, and he lives up to it. And really excited to see, how far he can take it this year, because we're definitely going to need him to produce for us, and we're going to put him in a position to do so.
In your collegiate coaching career, how many offensive lines have you had that has the potential and experience this one does?
Never this depth and experience. I mean, it's a good problem to have.
What do you think that can bear out for your skill players, many of whom are still pretty young?
Say that again now.
How can it help your skill players, whether it's quarterback or receiver or whatever?
The O-line? Yeah. I think it's huge just to have pass protection. I think sometimes O-lines get, they get a bad rap for sacks, and it has nothing to even do with what they were doing. It had something to do with the quarterback's depth, the quarterback not getting rid of the ball, the receivers not running the proper routes, things like that. So I think just their ability to pass protect and their comfort in our system in year 2 is going to allow them to protect the quarterback and to block and create seams for the running backs, which bleeds out through the entire team for success.
Anything else from staff?
Thanks, guys.